Your mother criticizes everything you do. Your father never says he is proud of you, and you spent your whole life thinking this was just how African parents are. But here is what nobody tells you. Your parents are not all the same. They have different personalities, different fears, different ways of showing love that do not feel like love. The perfectionist who sees your 98 as failure, the people pleaser who gives everyone else what you need, the control freak who cannot let you breathe, the overthinker who turns your headache into a crisis, the drama magnet who needs chaos to feel alive. Understanding their personality type will not fix everything, but it will help you stop blaming yourself. It will help you see that their reactions are about who they are, not about what you did wrong. You are about to understand your parents in a way you never have before, and that understanding might hurt more than the confusion did. Because once you see clearly, you cannot unsee. The perfectionist parent. Nothing you do is ever good enough. You bring home a 98, and they ask what happened to the other 2 points. You get second place, and they ask why you were not first. You achieve something incredible, and they find the flaw. The perfectionist parent genuinely believes criticism makes you better. Praise feels dangerous to them. If they tell you that you did well, you might stop trying. You might get comfortable. You might not reach your full potential. So they never celebrate. They only correct. This comes from their own childhood. They were raised by parents who made them feel like they were never enough. Or they grew up where one mistake could cost everything, where being almost good enough meant failing completely. Your grandmother did not feed the family crops that were almost good. Your father did not get the scholarship with a score that was almost high enough. Almost was the same as nothing. Perfectionism was survival. Now it is poison. But they do not know the difference. So they are poisoning you with the thing that saved them. Here is what this does to you. You achieve things most people dream of and feel empty. You are successful but never satisfied. You are always chasing the next goal because the last one did not count. You become an adult who cannot enjoy anything, who cannot rest, who cannot feel proud, because your parent installed a voice in your head that sounds like them. And that voice will never say you did enough. The perfectionist parent raised you to achieve everything and enjoy nothing. If that one hurt, the next one will too. The people-pleasing parent. Your parent cannot say no to anyone except you. The neighbors ask for help and your parent drops everything. The relatives make demands and your parent complies. Church members need something and your parent volunteers immediately. But when you need something, there is never enough time, never enough money, never enough energy. The people-pleasing parent gives everything to everyone outside the family and expects the family to understand. This comes from deep insecurity. Your parent does not feel valuable unless other people need them. They measure their worth by how much they give, by how helpful they are, by how much people praise them. They are terrified of disappointing others, terrified of being seen as selfish, terrified of being rejected. So they say yes to everything. They overcommit. They exhaust themselves. And they resent the people they are helping but cannot stop helping them. You watch your parent bend over backwards for strangers. You watch them sacrifice for people who do not even appreciate it. And you wonder why you are not worth that effort. Here is the painful truth. You are not getting less love. They are giving everyone else the love they cannot give themselves. Your parent is performing generosity for an audience, and you are backstage watching the performance fall apart. Here is what this does to you. You learn that strangers matter more than family. You learn that your needs are not important. You learn that asking for anything is selfish. You also learn people-pleasing. You become an adult who cannot say no, who gives until you are empty, who resents people while helping them. The people-pleasing parent raised you to value everyone except yourself, the control freak parent. They need to control everything because they cannot control anything. What you wear, what you eat, what you study, who you date, where you work, how you spend your money, how you raise your children. They must approve everything, And if you make a decision without them, it is disrespect. It is rebellion. It is proof that you think you know better. The control freak parent cannot let go, cannot trust, cannot watch you make choices without panic. This comes from fear, deep, overwhelming fear that disguises itself as care. Maybe they lost control of their own life. Maybe life hurt them in ways they could not predict or prevent. Maybe they watched people they love make terrible choices and suffer consequences they could not fix. So they grabbed control wherever they could find it, and the one place they could control was you. Controlling you feels like protecting you. Letting you make your own choices feels like watching you walk off a cliff. They genuinely believe they are keeping you safe. They genuinely believe they know what is best for you better than you know yourself. They are wrong, but they believe it completely. Here is what this does to you. You become an adult who cannot make decisions. You second-guess everything. You need approval for choices you should make independently. Or you rebel completely. You make bad decisions just to prove you can. You reject good advice because it feels like control. Either way, you never learn to trust yourself because your parent never trusted you. The control freak parent raised you to doubt your own judgment. We are not even halfway through, and you have probably recognized your parent already. The next ones get more specific. The overthinker parent. Every small thing becomes a crisis in their mind. You have a headache and they think you are dying. You are quiet and they think something terrible happened. You make one mistake and they catastrophize your entire future. They worry out loud constantly. They play out worst-case scenarios. They cannot relax because their mind is always spinning with what could go wrong. The overthinker parent lives in a state of constant anxiety, and they make you manage that anxiety with them. This comes from trauma. Maybe they lived through war. Maybe they experienced loss that came without warning. Maybe they grew up in such instability that they learned to always expect disaster. Their nervous system is stuck in survival mode. It scans for danger even when there is no danger. It prepares for catastrophe even in moments of peace. They are not trying to stress you out. They are trying to protect you from dangers they see that you cannot see. Dangers that might not even exist. Here is what this does to you. You become anxious. You learn to worry about everything. You learn that peace is temporary and disaster is always coming. You also learn that your feelings cause their anxiety, so you stop sharing. You hide your struggles because you do not want to make them worry. You become an adult who handles everything alone, who does not ask for help, who minimizes your own problems because someone else always has it worse. Or you become reckless. You take stupid risks just to prove that not everything is dangerous. You reject all caution because caution feels like their anxiety. The overthinker parent raised you to carry your pain in silence or ignore danger completely. The drama magnet parent. Peace bores them. Calm feels wrong. They need chaos to feel alive. Everything is a crisis. Everything is urgent. Everything needs your immediate attention and emotional energy. A small inconvenience becomes a tragedy. A minor conflict becomes war. A normal day somehow turns into chaos. The drama magnet parent cannot exist in peace. They need intensity. They need conflict. They need everyone around them emotionally activated. This comes from a few places. Maybe they grew up in chaos and peace feels uncomfortable. Maybe they are bored and drama makes them feel important. Maybe they have unprocessed trauma that leaks out as manufactured crisis. They create problems when there are no problems. They escalate situations that could be resolved calmly. They thrive in the chaos they create. And you are expected to participate, to take sides, to be outraged, to fix things, to prove your loyalty by being as upset as they are. If you are not upset, you do not care. If you are calm, you are against them. If you try to de-escalate, you are betraying them. Here is what this does to you. You become exhausted. You learn that calm moments are just the pause before the next explosion. You cannot relax because you are always waiting for the next crisis. You also learn that drama gets attention. That being calm means being ignored. that emotional intensity equals love. You become an adult who either recreates drama in your own life or runs from any conflict. You either need chaos to feel alive or you avoid all confrontation because confrontation reminds you of home. The drama magnet parent raised you to confuse intensity with intimacy. The pessimist parent. Nothing will work out. Every opportunity is a trap. Every success is temporary. Every plan will fail. You tell them good news and they point out everything that could go wrong. You share a dream and they list all the reasons it will not happen. You celebrate something and they remind you it will not last. The pessimist parent sees danger everywhere. They prepare you for failure by expecting it. This comes from survival. They lived through things that did not work out. They watched dreams collapse. They tried and failed so many times that hope started to feel like stupidity. So they stopped hoping. They stopped dreaming. They lowered their expectations so low that nothing could disappoint them anymore. And they are trying to protect you from the pain of hope. They think if you expect nothing, you cannot be hurt. If you do not dream, you cannot be devastated when dreams die. They think they are being realistic. They think they are preparing you for the real world. They think optimism is naivety and pessimism is wisdom. Here is what this does to you. You stop dreaming. You stop trying. You achieve less than you are capable of because you already believe it will not work. Or you become relentlessly optimistic to prove them wrong. You chase success desperately to show them they were wrong about you. But even when you succeed, you cannot enjoy it because their voice is still in your head, saying it will not last. The pessimist parent raised you to fear hope more than failure. The optimist parent. Everything is fine, even when it is clearly not fine. You tell them you are struggling and they say just pray about it. You tell them you are depressed and they say you have nothing to be sad about. You tell them something is wrong and they tell you to be grateful for what you have. The toxic optimist parent refuses to acknowledge real problems. They deny your reality. They minimize your pain. They insist everything is fine when everything is burning. This comes from survival too. Maybe acknowledging problems felt too dangerous. Maybe they could not afford to fall apart, so they just kept pretending everything was okay until pretending became their truth. Or maybe they grew up in such difficulty that anything less than catastrophe feels like blessing. So your normal problems feel like complaints to them. Your depression feels like ingratitude. Your anxiety feels like weakness. They learned to survive by denying pain. Feelings were expensive. Falling apart was not an option. So they smiled through suffering until the smile became permanent. And now they are teaching you to do the same. Here is what this does to you. You learn that your feelings are not valid, that struggling means you are ungrateful, that needing help means you are broken. You become an adult who smiles through suffering, who says you are fine when you are breaking, who cannot admit when you need support because needing support feels like failure. The toxic optimist parent raised you to perform happiness while dying inside. 3 more. And these ones explain why your relationship with your parent feels so distant. The introvert parent. They love you. They just cannot show it. They are emotionally distant. They do not talk about feelings. They do not hug. They do not say I love you. They show love through actions, through providing, through working hard, through making sure you have what you need materially. But they cannot give you emotional closeness. They cannot have deep conversations. They cannot be vulnerable. They cannot be emotionally available even when you are breaking. This is not because they do not love you. This is because emotional expression feels impossible to them. Maybe they are naturally introverted and emotional expression drains them. Maybe they grew up in a home where feelings were not discussed. Maybe vulnerability was punished, so they learned to shut down completely. They do love you. They are showing you in the only way they know how. Through the food they cook, the bills they pay, the roof they provide. But you need words. You need affection. You need them to say they are proud of you. You need emotional connection, and they cannot give you that. Here is what this does to you. You feel unloved even though you are loved. You crave emotional connection you never get. You wonder if something is wrong with you that makes them unable to be close to you. You become an adult who struggles with intimacy, who cannot express emotions, who shows love through actions because that is all you know. Or you become the opposite. You are desperate for emotional connection. You overshare. You cling to people who show you even a little warmth. You mistake any emotional availability for love. The introvert parent raised you to confuse provision with affection. The extrovert parent, they tell everyone your business. They cannot keep a secret. They process everything out loud, and your privacy is the cost. You tell them something private, and the next day, the whole family knows. You achieve something, and they announce it to everyone before you are ready. You are going through something difficult, and they share it without asking. The extrovert parent needs to talk, needs community, needs to process externally, and they do not understand that your privacy matters, that some things should stay between you and them, that not everything needs an audience. This comes from how they are wired. Extroverts think out loud. They process by sharing. Keeping things in feels unnatural to them. Silence feels like secrets. Privacy feels like shame. They also grew up in collectivist culture where privacy was not valued, where family business was community business, where individualism was seen as selfish, where keeping things private meant you were hiding something bad. So they genuinely do not understand why you are upset that they shared. They think you are being secretive. They think you are embarrassed of your family. They think you are trying to be too good for your community. Here is what this does to you. You stop sharing anything real. You keep secrets. You build walls because walls are the only privacy you have. You tell them surface things, safe things, things you do not care if the whole world knows, because if you tell them something that matters, it will not stay between you. You become an adult who cannot trust people with information, who keeps everything surface level, who feels violated when someone shares something you told them in confidence. The extrovert parent raised you to guard your truth like a secret because your truth was never safe with them. The procrastinator parent, they avoid difficult things until crisis forces them to act. They put off dealing with problems until problems explode. They promise to handle things later, and later never comes. You need to talk about something important, and they say, not now. You need a decision, and they delay. You need action, and they wait until the last possible moment or beyond it. The procrastinator parent is not lazy. They are avoidant. Difficult things feel overwhelming. Conflict feels unbearable. Making decisions feels paralyzing. Taking action feels impossible. So they delay. They hope problems will resolve themselves. They hope someone else will handle it. They hope if they wait long enough, the situation will change and they will not have to do the hard thing. But problems do not disappear. They grow. They fester. They turn into emergencies. And then your parent acts, not because they finally decided to, but because they have no choice anymore. Here is what this does to you. You learn that avoidance is a strategy, that putting things off is normal, that you only deal with problems when they become catastrophes. You become an adult who waits until the last minute, who ignores problems until they explode, who lives in constant crisis because crisis is the only thing that makes you act. Or you become the opposite. You become hyper-responsible. You handle everything immediately because you watched them avoid things until disaster. You panic at the first sign of a problem because you know what happens when problems are ignored. Either way, you never learned healthy problem solving. You only know avoidance or emergency response. The procrastinator parent raised you to fear addressing things before they burn down. 10 personality types. You probably recognized your parent in at least 3 of them. Maybe you recognized yourself too, because children of perfectionists often become perfectionists. Children of people pleasers learn people pleasing. Children of control freaks either submit or rebel, but rarely find the middle. We do not just experience our parents' personalities. We inherit them or react against them. Either way, they shape us. Understanding their personality does not erase the damage, does not excuse the harm, does not mean you have to accept behavior that hurts you, but it helps you see them as a whole person, not just as the parent who hurt you, as someone shaped by their own wounds, their own fears, their own survival strategies that worked once but do not work anymore. They are doing the best they can with the tools they have, even when their best is not good enough, even when their tools are broken, even when their best is actively harming you. You can understand them and still protect yourself. You can see their humanity and still set boundaries. You can recognize their personality and still refuse to accept their patterns. Understanding is not the same as excusing. Empathy is not the same as compliance. Compassion for them does not require sacrificing yourself. You deserved a parent who could see you, who could celebrate you, who could hold space for your feelings, who could let you be your own person. And knowing why they could not give you that does not change the fact that you deserved it.